Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is a lazy February day. Roosters still can't act right. Middle of the day, he's still out here crowing. All of them are. I swear I don't know what's wrong with my roosters, but they're crazy. So I want to talk about some. I get a lot of emails and I get a lot of people ask me questions specifically about getting a job in Belize, working in Belize, what you need to do, what you can do, what you cannot do. So I figured I'd do a video on what I've learned. And of course, I do not work in Belize, but what I've learned from being here, what I've seen, and what I know. So the first thing is you're not going to become a millionaire in Belize. Belize is not known for its money. Belize is the most expensive country in Central America. Belize is not known for high wage paying jobs. It's crazy, in my opinion, what a lot of people make here and what things cost in Belize. It's so upside down. When I see somebody who's working a minimum wage job here and they're making $5 Belizean an hour and they can't even buy 4 rolls of toilet paper for that. It's just absolutely nuts. So you're definitely not going to become a millionaire in Belize. Maybe if you get into the tourist industry, but I got to be honest with you, even there, I don't see anybody becoming a millionaire just specifically doing the tourist thing. It's tourist season can fluctuate so much, and one thing that Belize was at its heyday, like right at 2019, and since the pandemic, tourism has picked up again. But just like everywhere else in the world, you're hot for so long and then you're not. You're just not hot. It's, same thing happened to Mexico, and that's why countries have to keep reinventing themselves, because if they don't and you depend on the tourist money, well, that just falls apart. So the first thing that you're going to need if you want to come to Belize and work is you're going to have to get a work visa through the immigration department, and I believe that's going to cost you about $1,500 to get that, which again, in my opinion, that is an expensive price to pay for a work visa here in Belize. So if you're not a resident or you're not a citizen, you're going to have to get a work visa. So that's the first thing that you're going to have to do. Like I said, I know a lot of people ask me things and, not ready to retire, want to come over here, love Belize, because Belize is a beautiful country. But a lot of people want to come over here. They want to find a job. They just want to have the simpler, the easy way of life, kind of fit in, be able to earn an income, and live over here in Belize. And I can tell you from my experience, that is not the case. You are going to have, unless you start your own business, which I do encourage, because Belize needs more people coming over here and starting businesses and not taking jobs here. All of the jobs that are here in Belize are going to go to Belizeans first. That much I can tell you hands down. And if you're one of the people that's already asked that question and a Facebook page of, hey, what's it like getting a job over in Belize? What do I need to do? Then you probably found out for yourself just how nasty people can get when it comes to talking about expats, foreigners coming over to Belize and taking jobs away from the locals. That is one area that you don't want to mess with, because it goes from 0 to 100 really, really fast. So I would not recommend coming over to Belize just getting a work visa and looking for a job, because you're going to get pushback. Not only are you going to get pushback, to be honest with you, you're not going to make any money. So you're going to have to really lower your expectations of living. If you were used to making, even 500 US a week somewhere else, it's just not going to happen here in Belize. The monthly salary here in Belize on minimum wage is about 800 US a month. So that's what you have to keep in mind. So really, you're either going to have to work for a remote company, or you're going to have to start up your own business here. And there's a lot of people that have come over here and have started up their own business and are doing fine and making money. But you're going to have to target the tourism industry, because that's where most of the money is coming in Belize. That's where most of the money is being spent, is with the tourism industry. But then there's a catch-22 to that. So you're going to have to keep in mind with that, with the tourism industry, that's only, 4.5 months out of the year that there's people coming and going, and then you're going to run into downtime where you're not making any money. And you might have hired people, and then you're going to have to let them go. Pretty much seasonal. Belize is kind of like the ski resorts in the U.S. They're only open for a few months, and it's packed, everything's great, and then it's a ghost town. That's exactly how Belize is, so you need to be prepared for that. And it's unfortunate that Belize doesn't offer more, because you think about the U.S. and other countries where people want to migrate to, and they're migrating there for a better life, for money. And once you live in Central America for a while, you see, and I understand why people want to leave Central America and they want to go to other countries where they can make some money, because unless you were grandfathered in here in Belize and you have something that you started 40, 50 years ago, you're not going to become a millionaire. And there's really not that many jobs, and there's just not that much money. And like I said, Belize is expensive, and that's the other thing. A lot of people get that misconception. Well, for every $1 US, it's $2 Belizean dollars. So if I have $10,000 and I go over to Belize, I'm going to have $20,000, and it's cheap in Belize, so I'm going to be able to last 3-4 years. I can tell you right now that is not the case. That's one of the first things that I learned, is that your $1 to $2 Belizean dollars doesn't mean anything else. That old saying, everything comes out in the wash, because when you're paying 2.5 to 3 times for most everything that you're used to here in Belize and where you came from, that $1 doesn't mean anything if you're paying 2.5, 3 times here for what you can get it back where you came from. So that's another thing that you really have to keep in mind. My best advice to you is to have something remotely, or have a nest egg that you can stretch while you're over here. You don't have to go out to the bars all the time. You don't have to go out to eat all the time. You can live humbly in Belize. You can live where you're not spending a lot of money. It just depends on your lifestyle. So you have to keep that in mind. You can survive in Belize on a small budget. There is people that get by here in Belize on $1,000 US every month, but the way that they choose to live is a lot less than where they came from. So you're going to find, if you move over here, you're going to find a lot of people that retired over here, and the reason why they came over here is because after they buy their place and they don't have a mortgage, they don't have rent, their money goes a lot further. Medicines are cheaper here, but I'm telling you, everything else is astronomically expensive, and I get comments all the time on my videos, man, you should go to Guatemala, you should go to Mexico, you should go to El Salvador, because I'm telling you, Belize is an expensive country. I don't know how it got this way, especially being nestled in between Guatemala and Mexico. To me, it doesn't make sense. But even if you go to Guatemala and Mexico, there's jobs everywhere. You'll be able to find work if you want to. You may not make a lot of money, but you'll be able to find work. There's more than enough work. That's not the case here in Belize. So you need to really keep that in your mindset. If you're thinking of moving to Belize and you're thinking that you're going to be able to sustain a lifestyle by getting employment, by getting a job over here and making some kind of money, I can tell you that that's absolutely not the case. And don't just take it from me. Do your own research. Ask around in some of the Facebook groups. Ask them, what it's like for a foreigner or an expat, an immigrant, to get a job over here who's not a resident or who's not a citizen or who doesn't have a work visa. And the reason why I bring up the work visa is because a lot of the tourist resorts that are owned by people outside of Belize, they bring people in to run their resorts. And those are normally the people that actually get work visas, but they're not being paid a Belizean salary. It's basically they're working here, but their money is coming from an outside source, and they're being paid accordingly to whatever experience that they have. So yeah, here goes my rooster again. Sorry about that. Jet, he just can't get right. So yeah, just do yourself a favor. Keep that in mind. If you're thinking about coming to Belize and getting a job and sustaining yourself, the chances of that happen are less than zero. So thanks for watching, everybody. And I know I've been kind of lacking on some videos lately. I got a lot of videos lined up, but I've been super busy around here, and we're in the middle of dry season, but it hasn't stopped raining for the last 6 weeks. It's raining every day. So Belize is crazy right now, but appreciate you guys. Hope some of you got some information out of this video. Remember, you're not going to become a millionaire in Belize, and you're really not going to come over here and find any kind of work to where you can make any money to where you can make a decent living or even sustain yourself. So make sure that you have a plan. Just don't come over here blind. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one, everyone.